Hey guys, welcome to Waypoint X. My name is Judd, and for today's video, we are installing a brand new PSC power steering pump. So our pump just failed us. It was a long time coming. We had just replaced the steering gear with a brand new PSC big bore steering gear because ours had failed, and now our pump has finally bit the dust. So it's a long time coming. So we went ahead and ordered the PSC power steering pump kit. We did get the advanced kit, I would say. Came with everything besides ram assist. We did not go ram assist because we did go to that big bore steering gear, and we're going to see how long that lasts us before we do have to go ram assist. So what comes in this kit is the brand new power steering pump. We've got a new idler pulley. We've got all the fluids for our brand new reservoir tank. Nice aluminum, looks really pretty, and the bracket for it. We also have our pressure hose kit. We also have our reservoir hose kit. We've got our anti-splash relief valve for this reservoir. Just if you're off camber, you're not going to lose any fluid or anything like that. And we've got our little bolts and little connectors for all the hoses and things like that. And a brand new belt. So while we have the belt off, why not go ahead and just replace it, put a new one on there, and you're good to go. You're not worrying about anything. So it did come with some directions for the reservoir placement, and gave you a little diagram, real nice diagram to kind of go by, super easy. But we did go to PSC's website and we printed off their installation instructions for the Jeep JK Assist cylinder. Now this is to install the ram assist, but all the instructions are the exact same until you get to the ram assist part. So it shows you what you need to do to take it off. It tells you what millimeter wrenches you will need. So I would definitely highly advise to go print this out and have it ready for when you do install it. We will show you what sizes we are using on the video. We don't have them all laid out here. We've got them beside the Jeep. Yeah, it just shows you bit by bit, part by part, where to place everything. So we're really excited to put this in our Jeep, so stay tuned. Hey guys, we're at the Jeep now, and so we have already uninstalled the previous power steering pump. So just a few things that you might want to take out before you start this process is I would go ahead and remove the grill. I would go ahead and remove your air box and remove your coolant, engine coolant tank, and just set it onto the outside. So you're going to want to go ahead and disconnect all your hoses, pull all your hoses out, and take that power steering pump off because it won't be needed anymore. So what we're going to do first is, just to knock it out of the way first, we're going to take that idler pulley off and install the new one. So we're going to get started on there.
Remove your idler pulley with a 13mm socket. We'll replace that idler pulley with the one that came in the kit.
You don't want to get it too tight, but you do want to get it snug. So just a little, because you still want it to move freely, because it does have to spin. So you don't want to compress it too much to where it will not spin freely. So we're just going to double check it one time. That's good. We'll move on to the next.
Next, we mounted the power steering reservoir. On page 2 of the PSC instructions, you will enlarge the rearmost hole using a 5/16 drill bit. Then mark the location for the second hole and drill the second hole with a 5/16 drill bit. Then mount the bracket with the supplied hardware. We turned our bolts upside down. It was the easiest way for us to do it. When mounting the new steering pump, you will reuse all factory hardware to put in the new pump. Go ahead and place some blue Loctite on all the bolts so they won't come out.
Alright guys, so now we need to go ahead and fit all of our lines together. So we've opened up everything. We've got a right angle fitting, and then we've got a straight on fitting. So the right angle fitting is going to go on one end of this hose, and then you'll measure it out and you'll need to cut it wherever you need to. So we're just going to go ahead and place on the right angle, hook it up to the pump, and then see how far we need to go. So what we're going to do is we just got a little extra power steering fluid around, and we're just going to dip my hand in there and just kind of get it all over these barbs right here. Just get it all lubed up. Paper towel, wipe it off. And then we're gonna go on the straight end. Get it right there. Put it against a hard surface. And there you go. That's what you want it to look like. We are going to go ahead and hook up all these different fittings. So we're going to first do the anti-splash fitting on top of the reservoir so we can go ahead and get that knocked out. So what we're going to do is go ahead and place this fitting in the top of the reservoir top. And it's 11. It's already got tape on it. It's an 11 millimeter. We're just going to go ahead and tighten that up a little bit. Okay, so that's tight. So what you're going to do is this is super easy. It basically just pushes in and it locks out. But we're going to measure it once we get it on there. But we want to go ahead and install that. So we're going to go ahead and place this back on the top. So we've already done one side of this hose. It's super easy. So what you're going to do is you're just going to lube these barbs and then you're going to press it up against a hard surface and it will sink the barbs down into the tube. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place this inside the Jeep with the other side of the mount and see how far we need this hose. So let's go out there and check it out. A little trial and error to kind of weave it in and out. Hopefully we won't lose any of these two bolts. Just get it in there, start tightening these up. Let's see if we can get this other side lined up. So this is all just test fitting. We don't have to get it super tight just yet. And see kind of where we need to mark it at. So we're going to go ahead and get the other fitting, see where we are going to need to mark it, give it a little bit of slack because we can bend this tube just a little bit. We don't want to cut off too much. And then we'll get everything set and install it. Alright guys, so we went ahead and got our hose. We went to the reservoir side, put it on the connection, and then we measured out. And it looks like we're going to use a little bit less than half. So if we do mess up, we do have some extra just in case. But what's going to happen is we're going to cut it right here and we're going to go ahead and put that section, that 90-degree elbow in there so it can go to our pump. So let's go cut it. But luckily you can go to Napa or something like that and get a replacement hose if you just had to. We've got it to the length we hopefully it's going to be. If not, we've got plenty left. I think they do that for a reason. But what we're gonna do is put the hose clamp on first, and then we're gonna put on our elbow. So we've got our hose clamp on. Dip our finger in some power steering fluid. Lube those barbs up. Wipe my hand off on paper towel real quick. Then we're gonna press this in. We've got our hoses ready to go. We're going to go ahead and connect this first hose on here. This will go from the reservoir to the pump. So we're just going to screw it on there, get it tight. And we know that our pump is kind of just going to be sitting like this. Our pump is going to be going down at an angle like that. So we're going to go ahead and get it tight. It will move a little bit once you get it tight. So we got the biggest crescent wrench we could possibly find. That doesn't mean tighten it up. That's what we could find because we don't have anything that big wrench wise. So just gonna get it nice and snug. There's no reason to bear down on it. Alright, so that's nice and snug. We're gonna get the other line and put that on next. Alright guys, so we have our high pressure line. We've got our fitting. We've just got it in there snug with some tape on it. And we're gonna go ahead and tighten it up. Alright, looks like that's good and tight. Give it one more snug pull down. Didn't want to do that. I'm going to give it one more snug pull down. There we go. Don't want to bend it or anything or break it. But we're going to go ahead and install this. This will go from the pump to the steering gear. Alright, so for the other side of our pressure hose, we're going to go ahead and get some tape on it. If it come off my finger. So just going to put a little tape on it. Well, doesn't want to work with me. Alright. I put it on both sides just to play it on the safe side. It doesn't hurt. Better safe than sorry. Okay. And this is the high pressure line, and we've already put the other end on. Alright. Take a crescent wrench. Get our 17. Nice and snug. Alright, we're going to go ahead and install it. Don't want to over tighten it, you just want to get it nice and snug. Alright, so then this will go on to the other line that goes from the reservoir. Alright, so we've set it in here. And we're going to get our 5/32 Allen wrench. Try to figure out where they kind of sit. It's a little, backside is a little hard to get to. If we can just get that screw started. Alright. Thank you, Kate. Get the other one started. Alright, you're going to grab your 18 and tighten that up. We might have to loosen it later to try to get the proper angle we want to wherever we're going to run these hose lines at, because it's definitely not stock, so we're just going to have to see where we go. Alright, so now we're going to run that, and we're going to run it all the way to the power steering gear. So this is going to go into your pressure side of your pump. Usually is the one farthest forward to the right. So we're going to go ahead and place that fitting in there. Get it started. If we can get it started. Like always, don't want to get it too tight, just want to get it nice and snug. I will say these are pretty long, so it's going to take you a minute to get it all the way down. And it's definitely in a hard place. Definitely not easy. That we're going to install the intercooler line for the power steering pump. This is the return line. It's going to try to keep it cooler out on the trail and just every day. So we did call a few people in the industry and try to figure out what the best way to mount it and the best way to run the lines, because we didn't know exactly how to run it. There's really no directions out there. So we're going to show you exact kind of what we did, and if you want to change it on your Jeep, you go right ahead, because they said just do it the best you can. They did give us a few tips and tricks. They said don't make it like a P-trap. So what that means is if you go up under your sink, you've got that really hard shaped U. You don't want to do that with your lines. Also, second thing is try to not get it close to any high heat lines. So radiator lines, things like that. So what we've done, if we've mounted it right, we're going to mount it right in front of the radiator, right behind the grill, and we're going to run those lines. So there's on our year model 2009, we've got these little plastic little pieces that are kind of almost shielding forced air into the radiator. So we kind of pulled those back, and we're going to run those lines through a little small gap that's not going to kink off our lines, but it's going to keep it away from those high temperature lines. And we're going to show you that a little bit closer up picture of what we're doing, so you'll kind of understand what we're doing. But they said just run the lines the best way you can and keep them away from heat. So we're going to get started. Alright, so we're going to mount our intercooler. So on our year model, it didn't come, there's not really a spot to put it. So we're going to mount it on this little shelf right here behind the grill. And we just went to the local hardware store and we bought a self-tapping screw. So we're just going to put another washer behind it just to be on the safe side. And we're going to screw it into this little shelf right here, this bar that's behind the grill. There we go. It's nice and mounted. Really quick self-tapping screws. We already got this line in, and maybe Caitlin can come around here really quickly and show you. But we've routed it up through this flap right here. There's a little gap right here, and we've up through this flap, and it's going to be nice and parallel all the way to the steering pump. Now on this other side, we can kind of show you what we did. So here's this flap right here that we've kind of pulled back. It's got these little tabs on it. We pulled it back, and what we're going to do is we're going to run that hose up through here into the steering pump. Actually, to the reservoir. It's actually going to go from here to the reservoir, but we're going to go straight through here. It's mounted, real nice and firm. It's not going anywhere at all. We did move it a little bit to the left because of this sensor right here. Not exactly sure what that sensor is, but we don't want to mess with it or do anything like that. So we did move it a little bit to the passenger side. We've already got this side hooked up just for now, just temporary, but we've ran it through this little crack right here. Now this little piece has two tabs on it. It will come off, and we'll show you on the other side, but this is going to run straight through here. It doesn't mess up the line or anything, and it's going to go straight to the power steering gear. Now on this side, we're going to go straight through here, and what we've done is we've pulled back this flap. So we have our winch lines in the way, but we're going to be able to go behind this winch line through this little gap right here. It will not pinch off your line, and it will go up straight through here to our reservoir. And that's how we're going to run this cooler line. We have put the right angle on the end of this hose. We've measured it out, and we're going to go ahead and attach it to the pump, and that side will be done. So we're just going to work it down in here. The cooler to the the steering gear already run, and now we've gone from the cooler to the reservoir. So we did it a little extra long to give it just some play in here. It won't come in contact with our belt. We've got some zip ties in here, and if we need to cut it, if we see that it's going to come out that far, we might zip tie it somewhere else, but I don't think it's going to make contact with our belt, but we'll keep an eye on it. Next thing to do is put back the air box, put back the grill, hook up all our lines, and put our belt back on, and then we're actually going to roll it outside, out into the daylight, and we're going to bleed our cooler line. So we're not going to show you exactly how to do that, but I'm going to explain it to you here. So what you'll do is you'll fill it up to a certain level. You want to go ahead and lift your car tires, the front two, off the ground. You want to go ahead and turn it back left and right, about 10 times, and let it sit. Okay, you want to let it sit for about 3 to 5 minutes, then do it again 3 to 5 times. Now you will want to turn your key on to not on just the on position, but not crank the car. You want to do that 3, 4, 5 times in the air, and then you'll start the car. You'll let the pump start working a little bit with the motor running, and you'll go back about 5 times each side. After you do that, you'll be able to see that you're going to need to fill it up as you do this over and over again, and you're going to see more and more air bubbles come out. And when you see no more air bubbles, you're good, but you still need to keep an eye on it for the next few days and see where you're at. But we're going to finish up this install and get it bled. Yep, that hose fits perfectly under there, and it's kind of the box is actually kind of keeping it in place, so it's not gonna move anymore. We might throw an extra zip tie or two down there, but I just don't see that getting. I mean, it's gonna have to really push over there to get into that line. So next, we'll put on the belt. Well guys, we just finished up with the PSC power steering pump, reservoir, and intercooler, and all the new lines and high pressure lines and all that kind of stuff. We all just finished that up. It was a super easy install. We did not need a lift or anything like that, just basic hand tools and a ton of zip ties. But it's been great. Turns super easy left and right. No more lag or anything like that with the old power steering pump, because the old power steering pump just finally bit the dust. Super easy install. I would definitely recommend it to you if you're having steering issues, or you are running a bigger tire like we are with 37s, 40s. I would definitely go ahead and upgrade to this PSC power steering pump. It's going to be a complete different ball game when you put it in. But we really appreciate you joining in. Leave a comment below. Give us a thumbs up. And go check out some other videos. But we really appreciate you joining in. And next we're going to show you just how well it does and how well it turns just on solid ground here on the concrete. So stay with us for a few more minutes, but we really do appreciate you. We just finished up. We're going to turn it left and right. We're on the concrete in our driveway. We're just going to turn the wheel left and right and just show you how easy it is with 37s, 12.5 wide, bead locks. We're pretty heavy. So we're going to turn it left and right with this PSC power steering pump and the new steering gear that we've installed. So here we go. That's one arm right there. One hand. Super easy. Super easy.